I like to say when I do these Let's Talk with Van Silk, it's a conversation. You know, a lot of people like to do, we're going to talk about hip hop. We're going to talk about what happened in the 50s and the 60s. Let me get this straight. We don't do that. We don't do that over here. But I like to say to my man who's struggling with colon cancer, the same disease that I have, Kango from UTFO. He's at stage 4. A lot of people's going by to visit him at the hospital. So he's Yo Kango on Instagram. Send him a message. Also, another brother that was in a group out of, what up, Bukan? My brother from the Bronx. Poppy Williams, that's on Facebook. He is down with the Collins brothers out of Mount Vernon. He has stage 4 prostate cancer. And there's a few other brothers I cannot name because they want to keep their situation private. I'm dealing with it. So if you'll see me scratching or itching because of the chemo, and I had to wash my face no matter what, it's like my face is just, I'm losing my eyebrows. My daughter gonna get me an eyebrow pencil. But I like to say a couple things before I get into my conversation with my guest tonight. I was very disturbing news about a judge in Louisiana sitting home with a family and watching a video, and the term nigger came up, and she's right there advocating the whole thing with her family, saying nigger, this and that. And she just got a leave of absence, but she's talking about she was under a sedative when all this happened. Well, you know what? You still need to go. And everybody that's black that's been in your jurisdiction while you was judged need the court case that you personally gave sentence to need to be looked at. Also like to say, I look at all these major block spots, and I'm not going to call no names. I'm not trying to start no battle, no war. But can we do more interesting topics, less negativity, less people personal problems and personal issues? And let's get back to entertainment. Now, I know a lot of these celebrities put their own personal issues out here, because that's the only way they survive these days. You know, Kim Kardashian won't accept Kanye back, and I should have got mad at him because he wanted to wear a mega hat. And like, yo, listen, man. Tristan Thompson hit his baby, let his baby mama up for. Like, listen, come on, seriously. And then at the game at Madison Square Garden, some Instagram model was in the same row with Del Curry, and he trying to holler at her. You know, like, come on, man. Anything for just like a lick. But I ain't trying to stay on that because it's all negative. And tonight I have a special guest. With all the guests that we have, this guest here tonight to me is very important. Because if we would have did what we were both planning to do together, I think both our life would be in a different situation and in a different era of what we would have been doing towards the culture of hip-hop. I have a young brother on here that I met back in the mid-'90s, and I was getting ready to go to RCA Records with my friend Kevin Evans, who was at Scotty Brothers. And at this time, I'm talking to this brother on the phone, and he was working with a new artist that's from Louisiana, but they was in California. But we're gonna talk about this story tonight, and we're gonna move on past that story into what he's doing now. But tonight, it's about my man Tobin Costen and his life and time with No Limit, Master P, in the beginning, and life after it. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'd like to introduce my brother Tobin Costen.
How you doing, VanSilk? Hey, man, good to see you, man. I'm glad you're doing well, man. And, you know, shout out to Kango Kid, man, because I'm a huge fan. Was a fan when I was a youngster. Man, Beats and Rhymes is like my all-time favorite joint. And when Kango said, I'm a city slicker, not a country boy, and I like to drink milk with my Chips Ahoy, man, when he said that, I just lost my mind. Every time I hear that record, I go crazy. And I'm a huge fan of his, and love Doc Ice, and worked with Doc Ice on some projects and stuff. So man, man, when folks are going through it, I'm so glad that everybody's going out there to take a visit and see how he's doing, and as he keeps up the good fight. And then, also, man, anyone that can, donate to his cause, man, that Yo Kango cause, man, if you could do it, no matter if it's $20, $50, $5, anything that helps, it all goes to a good cause, man, and supporting him and his family as he goes through this tough situation.
And the hospital bills from this, dog, because I'm telling
you,
let me explain something to y'all. Y'all do not want to see these bills. Like, I'm talking about bills. Just my case. Well, top over $40,000. And I just used my other. I just put follow Kango from the VanSilk Only Real MCs. What up, Samantha? How you doing? Samantha, young sister out of Brooklyn. She's doing a thing. She work a lot with Cool Roski from the Fat Boys.
Oh, cool. I love Cool Roski too, man. Great, man. He's on that fitness kick. He looks good. He's healthy, man. I love Cool Roski, man. That's a good dude, man.
Now, let's get into this. You work at Master P, but I want you to tell everybody where you from.
Well, I would try to say where, my grandmother lived in the Bronx, East 137th Street and Willis Avenue. So that's kind of where I cut my teeth at when listening to hip hop, man. So back in the early 80s, man, when I was just listening to hip hop and you hear it in the streets, man. And I remember when I heard Sucker MCs, man, Run DMC, and was playing on the radio and everybody had it on their boxes and I was going crazy, man. And I just was like, man, I got to be a part of this and a part of this industry. And I want to just rock the mic. And I loved it, man. And love listening to break beats and freestyling. And man, it just kind of drew me to the industry itself. So, man, spending summers with my grandmother and my older brother, my older sister, and being in New York, man, I always considered.
So you said 137th Street in Cypress or Willis?
Willis Ave.
So that means y'all was in Millbrook Projects?
Mitchell.
Oh, so you was on Mitchell, 138th Street. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, I would say I spent many summers there, so it was definitely kind of like a summer home. My parents would drop my brother, sister, and off over there at my grandmother's. We spent the whole summer there, and then I lived all over. My dad was in the military, so we lived in Germany for so long. But we was always going back and forth between Germany and then the summers in New York City. So, man, I always loved it. In fact, I was just in New York City this weekend with my son, and we had a great time. We went to go see the Knicks play, went to go see the Jets play. Kind of hung out, went to Harlem, and we just kind of everywhere, just showing them around. So it was a good time, man. I love New York.
Hey, well, you know what? At least your parents dropped you off in New York. When my parents dropped us off in the summertime, we went straight to Holly Hill, South Carolina, to the house I was born in. No bathroom. We chased chickens. And 4 days later, my grandfather had us picking tobacco and cotton. Like, yo.
Oh, man. Hey, you know what? It's what made you strong, though. That's the deal, right?
I understand that.
So
that's the question.
Yeah.
So be the fact you're the military brat, how you ended up in California? And you in the part of California, right?
Yeah, I'm in the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area. So what happened was I wound up going to college up in Washington, Gonzaga University in Spokane. And I kind of got onto the radio there with my boy Grand Mixer GMS. So we had a rap show on KAGU radio, the only rap show Eastern Washington and Spokane, Washington. And I was DJing there. So I was DJing and in the mix. And my boy Nasty Ness Rodriguez was also in the radio in Seattle. And Nasty Ness kind of taught us how to mix and how to mix live on the radio and how to really host a radio show and blow that up. And then what happened was, as I was working in Washington, I met Master P, and meeting Master P and having him do shows up. He was like, man, California is where it's at. And I met E40's uncle, St. Charles, and St. Charles is the same way. He's like, man, California is where it's at. The Bay Area is blowing up. It's making noise. So when I was done with school in Washington, I was already working at No Limit in a limited capacity. But when I graduated, I wanted working for a publishing company, and I was working for No Limit at the same time. And as I kind of carved out a role for myself running No Limit, because E40's uncle St. Charles told P, man, Tobin's the guy that's going to take the label to the next level, man. You kind of just, you kind of just doing something, but you want to get to the next level. You need somebody that, that understands the business, that really understands and has ideas. And, it kind of worked that way. And I think it was more because of the ideas I had and things that I wanted to do. P was feeling it because P was like, man, that's where I want to get to and where I want to do. And his work ethic was second to none.
Because a lot of people was under the impression that No Limits, everything was based out of Louisiana. And
that was later on. So it started out in California.
Yeah.
So
in the beginning, when I was talking to you, you was in California because everything.
Absolutely.
Ice Cream Man and all this stuff that you were sending me stuff to put in my store that was collecting dust on 125th.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you a story. I had the mixtapes on 125th Street, Fat Flavor.
Yes.
697. Me and K Slay was running everything. And, DJ Envy, Capone, all these DJs were new rookie DJs. They wasn't even mixed, flew, all that. But Thanksgiving, Christmas coming, so I went to distribute and spent like $8,000 on just buying music, CDs, real CDs, because I never saw bootleg. We had mixed CDs and mixtapes. And bought, and I already had all the Master P stuff you sent me.
Yep.
That weekend, somebody broke into my store. Because me and the original Spinderella had went down to Baltimore for that Thanksgiving weekend, plus my birthday, to see your mother. So I decided to leave a day early and come back to my store. They broke in my store. I swear, man. They took everything under the sun, but all the Master P and Kid Capri album. They just, like, they went shopping. I mean, there's out on the wall, a couple stuff that was supposed to have go to the New Music Experience Project with Jim Fricke in Seattle, Paul Allen.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Some of the stuff was stolen from there to come out.
Wow.
The museum idea. But they actually went store shopping in my store, and they're like, yo, they ain't take no Master P shit. They ain't take the Kid Capri album.
Oh, man.
The sun.
Well, you got to understand, man, people didn't quite understand what we were trying to do and the sound that we had. So back then, we had a more of a West Coast sound. And as we was developing into and meeting folks and developing what that sound would be, the West Coast was a very organ sound, hi-hats, kind of a methodical way of putting albums together. And people didn't quite understand it. The thing that got people excited about Master P is the stories that he told and how he told them, and him as a person and how he'd interact with people. He's very dynamic. So when you like, P's like a politician. I always used to call him a politician because the way he would get in front of you and be able to sell what we were trying to do, that's what kind of made him different. They made him special. And the number one thing, and I always tell people, you cannot outwork Master P. You never will be able to do it. I don't care how hard you work. I don't care what you do. If you're waking up at 3 a.m, he's waking up at 2 a.m. If you working until midnight or 1 a.m, he's working until 2 or 3 a.m. That's just the way he is, and that's what he does. So I tell this story all the time, man. Like a lot of times I would tell P, like, hey, man, we need to go to Texas. We need to go to New York or wherever we needed to go. He'd always ask me two things. Man, you got my passport? And what time you picking me up? And no matter what time I tell him I'm picking him up, I always had his passport. I always had and I always told him I'd pick him up at a certain time. He'd be ready to go, and we'd be out the door and ready to rock and roll and ready to work. And I think that's the one thing that most artists don't really understand, that the work ethic he always has, and he still has it, that work ethic is what set him apart. So I was kind of like an idea guy and all about strategy and doing things that was not the norm. And he was always the guy that was the drive that always worked so hard to make sure that he wasn't going to be denied. And that's the deal. Like the work ethic is like, I got to tip my hat off to him, because I would grind with them all the time and other cats couldn't keep up. And even when I did my own record label, I used to work like that and used to grind like that. And people would be like, well, when are we going to eat? And I would be like, well, when we're done. And that's kind of how it worked.
We talked about that not too long ago when I had Little Troy on.
Yes.
Y'all two had worked together.
Absolutely.
Little Troy, my brother, the OG from Texas.
Yes.
Y'all worked together in some capacity. Also, a lot of people don't realize that Pen and Pixel changed the art game of covers.
Yes.
With hip hop, I
Yes.
mean, if you go look at all the Master P covers,
Yep.
not. I don't think they did it with the. I don't think Jay Prince did it. I think Jay Prince was not using it, but I know
Everyone else was using it, you know, and one of the absolutely everybody was utilizing it.
Everybody down was using pen and pixel, which they brought a whole new light to the album cover, because even if you didn't like the music, you just wanted to buy it because of the way the cover was graphically done.
Yes. But that's the thing. So Pen and Pixel was a company that we utilized. Well, at first we were at Funky Fat Graphics out in California, and then we started hearing about Pen and Pixel. So there was a guy named Kazzy D, Curtis Nelson named Kazzy D, out of from Houston but out of Seattle. He had a group called the Mac 10 Posse. He's the one who kind of showed us his artwork. He had this cool artwork. We're like, man, where'd you get this done? He was like, Pen and Pixel. I was like, who are they? He said, man, let me give you their number. So I reached out to him and we did some album covers with him, and then they were just rolling. It was like the graphics, the art, the light, the dimensions, and how they were doing things.
They put the richness, like you rich.
Yes.
The diamonds and everything.
All that. Next level. So what people don't understand is, right, so our number one game was, look, we didn't have the high quality studio of some of the larger artists, but we wanted to make sure that the quality of our album cover, the information inside saying coming soon, so they could be waiting for the albums. And we spent a lot of money on mastering. Like, people would be like, man, your sound is so different. I said, well, we want to make sure when you buy one of our albums, whether you bought our album or someone else's, from a quality standpoint, it's at the level of a major label that spent millions of dollars on a project. And that's really what it was about. It's like our project had to be so tight when you got it in the store that you'd be like, man, what are these dudes doing? And I got to check it out. And when you opened up the album covers and you looked at the CDs and cassettes, you see all the albums coming soon. So people would be on that bandwagon like, man, I can't wait till this record comes out.
And you know what's so crazy about it? Even if you may not have liked the music, you just want it because of the cover. The graphics was just like a collector's item. The posters that y'all used to do. I mean,
well, the T-shirts too, because we did 100%. The T-shirts were puff. We were doing that puff art that nobody else was doing. 100% pre-shrunk cotton, and it was really about the quality of everything we did. So a major label might send out 5,000 T-shirts, but you get that promo T-shirt and wash it one time. It's a dish rag, or you using it to wash your car. We made sure that when we put out T-shirts, when we went out to a place, we could come back 6 months later and people would still be wearing those T-shirts because they were quality shirts. And that's just the way. Like, man, there are T-shirts that folks have that they'll tell me, man, that T-shirt you gave me 20-something years ago, man, I still wear that sometimes. So the quality was important.
But it's amazing, because I told you when I was going to go to RC Records that we're going to do a deal with Master P. But evidently, when you told us to meet Master P down at the BRE conference in Louisiana, we did, and my man Kevin Evans went back to the president, Bob Jameson, and they just wasn't feeling it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was
for the amount of money I was asking and what y'all was going to deliver would have changed me in your life.
Well, no doubt. I mean, you can, I also had a conversation with Hank Shockley. If you talk to Hank Shockley, he'll tell you it was a similar type deal we were trying to do with minimal money up front. We were going to deliver albums and videos, and I think it was almost to the point where people were like, well, wait a minute, how are you going to do all this for so little? And I'm like, man, we don't want your money up front. We want to get the money on the back end because we're investing in ourselves. And Hank Shockley will tell you, he's like, man, if I listened to Tobin, man, I probably would have made $200-300 million because we were just grinding it out. So, I mean, that's the thing, is like what people don't really understand. It's like, I already knew, like I got friends of mine who are NBA coaches. Like, man, I remember when I was a video coordinator, he used to send me all this Master P stuff, and you used to be like, hey, give them to the players, man, so they could check it out. Man, he said, they would say, man, I never gave it to them, but man, you weren't lying. Every time you said you was going to do something, you did it, and it blew people's mind. Because, you get somebody like me who thinks anything's possible, and you get a guy like Master P whose work ethic is second to no one's, it's just history's going to be made. And that's the deal, is building that foundation. And then you get somebody like E40's Uncle St. Charles, who really understands the distribution game. It was just going to happen. And that's the deal. So, man, I would just tell you, Sony's probably, there was a time they was probably kicking themselves. MCA, Hank Shockley, they were probably kicking themselves. Ken Wilson, everybody. They just didn't get it.
Listen, not only what I'm mad about, I didn't land that Master P deal, because me and you was talking like a whole year and a half before it was.
Absolutely.
Is this Misfear for me? Who Misfear? Is that Yo-Yo? No. Type your name. Hey, it says Misfear. I'm not looking to see who it is, but tell me who it is. Lily from SWV gave me. What up, Ada? How you doing, Ada? This is Ready Red Sister.
Oh yeah, what's up?
Ready Red Sister from the Ghetto Boys.
Oh yeah.
Peace. Lily from SWV had gave me a tape on Destiny Child, and I wanted to go to Houston to meet with the father.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't make that. I didn't get to make that trip.
Yeah.
If I would have signed Master P and Destiny Child, I wouldn't be. I would be in a different role, because I had the ear for it, and me and you.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know how to come back to you like, listen, man, they're not even feeling that. But meanwhile, we had Loud Records. Okay, with Steve Rifkin, who learned under me in Africa Islam, because we that Spring Records.
Yes.
It's Joe Simon, who just passed a couple
days
ago. Do you know Ready Red Sister Ada? She just said hi.
Oh yeah, how you doing?
Ada, yeah, Miss Fair, yeah. That's his sister. And so let me ask you a question. When you was at No Limit, who was the artist beside Master P that was there?
Well, Mia X was there. Mr. Servon was there. KLC was there. Moby Dick was there. Silk the Shocker. C Murder. Like pretty much most of the main crew was there. Right during my Big Ed was there. King George was there. During the transition, Mystical was coming in as I was transitioning out. And then, that's when later on we were talking to Magnolia Slim about coming on board, or who's Soulja Slim, rest in peace, Soulja Slim. So most of the foundation of the folks from the South and folks from the West were there when I was there. We worked with folks like EA Ski, was doing production for us that kind of took us to the next level. Lil Rick, we were working with folks like Rally Ral and Dangerous Dame. So we were pretty much working with a lot of different folks. And we did the West Coast Bad Boys, which is a big hit with the Delinquents and Rapping Forte. So we worked with so many different people. We did the Down South Hustlers with UGK, rest in peace, Pimp C, Bun B, 8Ball and MJG. We did the Dayton Family. We worked with a lot of different folks, but on the label was the foundation of the No Limit family with those folks.
And so crazy. As I do these conversations, let's talk with VanSilk. I'm trying, and uploading to YouTube, but I'm trying to set my whole platform with the new microphone and camera. So anybody want to make donations, I just put the Cash App up. Boom, 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 yo. Because listen. There's a lot of information coming out.
Yes.
So many people that's going to be coming on, and you're going to come back again, because we're going to have topics on working with record labels. What can we do now in 2021? Because there's with the Spotify, the platform, what do we need to do? When I'm looking at Empire distribution, why can't me and you be like Empire distribution?
We could there's definitely things that could be done to kind of drive revenue. I think the biggest piece of it now is, so if you look at back in the 90s, during what I would call my height of my career, it was, if you didn't have a relationship with the distributor, you weren't going to make it. Now, the radio stations, to me, I didn't really care, because I didn't need the radio stations, because if you were in the retail stores and people could get to the listening stations and they like what you had to say, and you had the right display, they were going to pick up your album. And that's really how it was. Now, you can go to the clubs and you got the clubs playing you. It didn't matter if you had the radio. Now, the radio will put you over the top, but independently, you could sell a lot of records. And that was really the key, is being able to do in stores, being able to do showcases, and really performing. And I think, COVID kind of threw things off for people now, because people weren't able to perform during that time, because artists, the key is being able to perform and be able to have some visual stuff for you out. And the other key was too, if you had a good video and getting that play, because remember, they used to have the box. You'd have the box where you could pay to get your video played. People would put it on there.
You remember that? Oh my God!
Oh man, that was.
Could you imagine somebody paying 100 times for one song, and that song only gonna play that one time? They just stole all that other money. That's
all it was. That's the deal, man, because you got to understand, when we put on like the Ghetto's Trying to Kill Me that was on the box, oh my goodness, people love that. They love that beat. They love the record that Ghetto's Trying to Kill Me. They love what P was saying. They love the visuals. We did another record called When They Gone and did that video. That thing blew up on the box and everybody just kept asking for it. I mean, that was just really the key. And then locally in the Bay Area, there was the California Music Channel that was huge, and that soul beat, which was kind of everywhere. Chuck Johnson had that soul beat, man, and we were getting so much love, and the record pools. So back then, if you had distribution and relationship with record pools, it didn't matter if you had commercial radio, because there was so much college radio that people wanted you to come and do shows on their campus, and they were going to play your record on their college radio show.
Something Fresh made a comment saying you still needed radio in the 90s and mid-2000s. Okay.
I would just tell you this: a lot of folks would sell over 100,000 copies without having radio. And then, if you sell over 100,000 records, you're looking, just from a distributor standpoint of what you're getting paid from the distributor, you're getting paid probably $600,000 to $700,000 for every $100,000 or 100,000 units that you sold. Now, I'm not saying it's not good to have radio. I'm just saying in the early to mid 90s, especially the mid 90s, if you were independent, it didn't matter if you had radio, because you were selling records through distribution if you had distribution. So if you look at 1997, so 1997 was the first year that independent labels basically started to outsell the major labels. That's what would kind of mess the game up for those guys, because they were like, well, how are these independent labels outselling folks? And then you also got to take a look at, too, in 1997, I think there were 20,000, I think it was 20,000 or close to 20,000 projects put out by people. They were just putting projects out, and that included the folks on the street corner just putting out projects. And only 0.02% of those people, 0.02% of those people sold more than 1,000 copies. Now, so all those people out there did that. Only that small amount of people sold that many copies. So it's just a little different.
Let's also understand, around 97, the mixtape game changed a lot of stuff now, because
absolutely,
when you had DJ K. Slay, every artist that came to New York went to K. Slay house to drop a freestyle. He'll drop a mixtape.
Yes.
You had Hard P at Bad Boy Records dropping a Bad Boy mixtape. They dropping their own product on mixtapes. You had DJ Clue. You had Greg G and all these artists getting the music. They wouldn't even give them to the radio stations no more. The DJs on the streets was out selling. It's like, it's so much.
You're right.
It's so much. If you look at the whole Lox versus Dipset battle, 90% of the songs that the Dipset did were from mixtapes.
You're right. I mean, that was
them did, and 90% of the stuff that the Jada Kids them did was from mixtapes.
I mean, I put a mixtape out in 1994 with Franzen and Trace Dog, who were cameo DJs. I put their mixtape out and it blew up. It was something special. And then you look at cats like my boy DJ Screw, rest in peace Screw. He was doing mixtapes and he was chopping and screwing and slowing those records up, and people were going crazy for him. And when you start putting things out on cassette and CD, not just the kind he was making in his house, but actually had distribution through Southwest Wholesale, that's when the Screwed Up clique started to blow up, and it was a game changer.
Yeah, but people got to still understand that whole mixtape game coming out of New York.
Yeah.
Where Reggie and them from Queens was making the nice covers and the playlist, and you had to play.
Absolutely.
Let me explain something to you. Then we had all the Africans out here selling mixtapes. I can tell you, for instance, that DJ Clue, whenever he dropped the tape, the UPS truck would sit outside his house.
I bet.
Just to pay for a master. They was ordering his tapes everywhere. Then you had the bootleg. So like if you legally, if you need to pay money to pay your rent on Monday, but you got to include mixtape or a K-Slate tape on a Friday.
Yep.
DJs, oh, you had your rent money Saturday.
Oh, for sure. That's 100% fact.
I had dudes in Philly that would come like, yo, man, I need 500 clue tapes. Remember, it was $5 wholesale.
Yeah, that's true.
Or for 60 cents tape.
Yep.
Then you had 2-3 telex machines.
Yep.
Then when the whole game graduated to CDRs, it's like, yo, and I got to give out to Justo, who had the Justo Awards, who's no longer here. Yeah. Also, my man Renee McClain, who was also part of helping stuff with a lot of DJs, and did a lot of DJ crews out here. DJs are still important to me. If you started with vinyl, but I'm all right. You know how to play vinyl. Yep. Moved over to the CDRs and all that stuff. You know, I'm cool with you, but.
Hey man, that's how I learned. I learned on vinyl. That's how I used to mix and spin, and every once in a while I'll pull out my turntables and spin a little bit for my kids, and they think it's kind of fun. So, and then my son, he loves vinyl. Now he's buying vinyl like crazy because that is the thing to do these days.
Well, I want to say this is Let's Talk with VanSilk. And my guest tonight is Tobin Costen, who is a managing partner and one of the guys who's like the backbone of No Limit Records from the beginning. And as in life, sometimes, people separate, people move on.
Yep.
It bothered me a lot when you say that you and Master P were no longer working together. And that seemed like when everything started to get moved back down south.
Yes. Yes.
If you want to talk about it. At
the end of the day, people know we split up, and when we split up, it wasn't a good split up. It wasn't like it was an amicable split up. It was, anytime you get two guys who are headstrong, you run into situations from a financial standpoint where money comes into play. Sometimes things don't work out. So we were able to, we split up. He went his way, and No Limit did what No Limit did based on the foundation that we laid. And then I went my way and with Me and Mine Entertainment, and had a lot of success working with King George, and a lot of success working with Lil Troy, and putting out, Wanna Be a Baller independently on Me and Mine Entertainment with Shortstop Records. And we sold a lot of records and made history. So when I think about, Master P, before we got together, put out 17 projects. And then when we got together, it started going where we started hitting Billboard, working with King George and hitting Billboard and driving results that way. And then going from there and moving on to working with Lil Troy and hitting Billboard charts, and working with groups like Cali's Finest, and working with Casey and JoJo, and putting soundtracks together, and just, mixing up records with the Wet Boys and Rest in Peace Sporty T, and putting these projects out that were billboard after billboard after billboard, and then having a really big hit record working with Troy. It was a fabulous experience of growing the business and driving revenue and making sure we sold a lot of records.
And right here on our screen is the sister of DJ Ready Red, the founder of the Ghetto Boys. I wanted her to come on for a second and say hi to everybody. How you doing, Ada?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing so well, man. It's like your brother was just a legend and loved by so many people, man, and definitely missed and created the foundation of that Southern hip hop, man. So thank you so much, and I'm so sorry for the loss. To your family for your loss.
Thank you so much. I always so appreciative to Van. Like, if nobody else says it on a regular basis, like how much he really worked hard.
Yeah.
I never imagined in a million years that, going through that how things were going to go, and just making a decision to reach out to Van the next day after seeing his post, like, completely changed so much of how it could have went after
Yeah.
my brother passed. So I'll, forever grateful.
And
Forever
and the
grateful.
greatest thing about Ready Red, a lot of people don't know that the Ghetto Boys originally started from New Jersey. And Bushwick Bill is from Brooklyn.
Yes.
But Ready Red was a fan of Grandmaster Flash in the Furious Five. And,
yes.
Fan is a light word. I don't even know a better word for what he was.
And Bruce Lee. But I want to say this. He did get to meet Kool Herc. He did get to meet Clark Kent, Colt LaRock, DST, Red Alert, Cool Cow. We included him in things that we was doing socially, speaking to kids. He did get a couple of proclamation even from the Senator Blumenthal up in Connecticut.
Yeah.
He did get to meet a few of the pioneers and legends that he normally looked up to, and he got to meet them. I mean, Dr. Dre. I mean, the original Spinnerella. He got to meet a few of the people, and it was a sad day for me because that week he approved of me of putting out the DJ Ready Red T-shirt.
Yeah.
He never even got to see the T-shirt. He said, "Van, go do it." She's seen it, but the point is that he meant a whole lot to me. He meant a whole lot to him. He definitely was a lover of hip hop and a gentle giant. I've never heard this man, not once, raise his voice. Or even if he was mad, you would never know.
Well, I did. I'm my brother. He was all of that and more. He was a super humble guy, and he really, really loved music. We came from a musical family, more so gospel, but he really loved music, and everything he's ever, like I grew up watching him do, he always still did. Like you talked about Bruce Lee, I have like it, I still need to go to
the storage
through everything because it's so much stuff. So much
and
stuff.
Remember, Ada.
So
remember, I'm gonna need some stuff with your brother. We need to get together for the Universal Hip Hop Museum. And, and I want to, I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to get with you so we could do a tribute to Ready Red. Get Kev to put the music together, and I get people to come on and we talk about your brother because I don't want to forget the people that's no longer here because they're still here.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, so much. I think that, I appreciate, the fact that, like you and Frank Holiday and like Rick Million, like so many of you guys, y'all really, really remained, like staying in contact, staying in touch with me. And, the last 3 years, it's been crazy. I'm just getting to a place where I think that I'm doing better. Like, cause it was, like pretty rough. I was like really grieving pretty hard.
Yeah.
But when I look back and I think about like, even how you helped and everybody rallied around and was willing to come to Trenton, New Jersey, our hometown, to put on, the workshop, and stuff like that will always stay with me. And so,
yes, ma'am.
y'all always got my support. And I just, I love hip hop. I love hearing these stories, these backstories. They're so important, for to be told, because it's like you see the difference in where hip hop is today. It's different than what it was when my brother got into the game. But you see, so many different things have even changed, like, just even during this pandemic, like, people from my generation and y'all generation being able to, I think you see, people connecting a little bit more because we were so isolated. We were home by things like Versus and things like, your different DJs getting on and doing the lives. Like, I was super proud as a sister of a DJ. Like, that was like the best thing dealing with this pandemic was seeing the DJs being like honored, seeing the DJs, like, people remembering, like, DJs are important, and that was big for me. So thank you I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, stop. When I saw the thing, I'm like, I was just listening,
Well, thank you for coming
like,
on.
oh man, absolutely. But it's nice to meet you, Tobin.
Nice
and
to meet you. Thank you.
Van, love you to death. Keep doing what you're doing.
I am, sister.
All
okay,
right,
everybody. This is the sister of the late DJ Ready Rag from the Ghetto Boys, the founder of the Ghetto Boys, Ada Johnson. And we're going to continue talking with my brother, Tobin Costen, one of the backbone of No Limit Records from the beginning. And as we were speaking about you and Master P going your separate ways, it wasn't a good situation, even though I know you're a real humble-ass guy. And he's humble. Who was the people in the middle throwing the crap in his ear?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, one of the people that was in part of the process is no longer here, so it's no use talking about it. I mean, I think ultimately, at the end of the day, there's a foundational way to do things, and I had ideas of a way to do things, and P decided to make the decision he decided, and we split up. I think at first it was kind of tough because, the communication he had and how he was communicating about me and how people perceived me was wrong. And I didn't appreciate that. And there was some money that was owed and I didn't appreciate that. But at the end of the day, what did I have to do? I had to start back over from scratch in a hole, and I climbed out of that hole. So putting out records with King George and putting out the Life of a Kingpin album and that going on Billboard charts and that being, wound up being a hit record, and then putting out True Vision, and then putting out, we did a King George No Limit album, and we did a King George True Player that was up for an award with Soul Train. I mean, those things were really special. And then when you look at the success that we had, Billboard chart after Billboard chart after Billboard chart, and then, two people going on the road, that was particularly special. And then from the time, hitting the radio and doing all that kind of stuff and having the opportunity to do projects and get folks like DJ Screw to screw it for you. And then at the end of the day, you get somebody like Southwest Wholesale, Robert Gillerman over at Southwest Wholesale. He was so behind what I was doing. And man, we were dropping so many albums after so many albums independently. It was we were selling like hotcakes. And if you look at their list, they'd have a top 20, and me and Mine Entertainment probably have 8 to 12 albums that were on their top 20 week after week after week.
And that was it's so crazy, even on the West Coast, when you had Don McMillan and had the person playing on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Yes.
Ice-T record, Techno Hop and everything. I think they were getting $1 for each 12-inch sold.
Yep.
I mean, he would press the records. And I mean, I went to visit Don McMillan because we didn't get that luxury in the East Coast.
No, it's just a little bit different.
The West Coast was totally open to let's make this money to South.
Yeah.
And I definitely had a distributor that was definitely only catering to the Southern stuff because they knew how to move it.
Well, the difference of mindset. So back in New York, and it's interesting because New York folks are hustlers just like everybody else, even more so, right? But a lot of the folks I met in New York would want to get a record deal. So, I mean, I remember talking to Houdini, rest in peace to Ecstasy. But I remember talking to Ecstasy and Jalil and saying, hey, look, man, let's roll and put an album out. And they were looking to get, some advance money and looking to get signed and get the deal. And I was like, well, look, man, I'm going to give you $4 or $5 a unit. And, I'll pay for the studio time and produce the record and everything. Y'all going to get $4 or $5 a unit and you're going to own your masters. I'm not even going to try to get your masters. But, they were like, well, we want this advance money. And I'm like, man, I'm literally creating your own record label. You own the record label. I'm just getting a piece through like a sub distributor, and I'm going to pay up front for the production. And it was still to the point where they was like, man, we want that money up front. And I'm like, you think about it, somebody at that time in the 90s, Houdini, kind of like, you think about it, could make a comeback. And cats like that, even if they only sold, let's say they sold 300, 400,000 copies, you're still looking at, yeah. So you're still looking at, you're going to generate $2 million of revenue for yourself, and you're going to hit on Billboard. And then if we did it right, we might push another 100,000 units to get to gold. And then you go gold independently. Then they write their own ticket to do what they want. But they was looking, they were looking to do something up front.
It had to be around 94 when I did Razor Claw's Art.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm like, man, we could do this independently. We could blow this thing up. And you're gonna make $4 or $5 a unit instead of making 80 cents or $1 or whatever they were trying to give them back then.
And all the other money you don't know shit about.
Absolutely, right? So that's the thing. What I try to teach artists, like at that time, and even working with Master P. I mean, P almost signed an artist deal with Craig Coleman over at Big Beat Atlantic. He almost signed an artist deal. So I was like, man, we're not taking this deal. You can't even own the Master P name if you sign. And that was the whole deal. Like, with people, cat named Curtis Nelson, Kazzy D, he was like, man, this dude Tobin is crazy, man. We got to go get this money. And people like, C Murder was mad at me, and King George was mad at me because I'm like, nah, we're not going to sign this. We just need to hold on. And then when we did the priority deal, it just made sense because we were like, man, we need a little bit of money to get us over the top. But we didn't need a bunch of money up front. That's why when we were talking, Van, I was like, man, we don't need a lot of money up front. Just give me a little sum and I'll get us over the top. So I was even talking about, when you talking to cats like Jay Boberg, I'm saying, Jay Boberg, I said, man, we don't need anything. Like I told him, I said, man, I just need some stock options, man. I don't need any of that advance money. You could pay my advance. If you're going to advance me in stock options. And it was like, man, you'd have thought I was talking like I was asking to date his girlfriend or something, because he was like, man, we don't do that here. So same with when Steve Rifkin, when I met with Steve Rifkin, I was talking about let's put these projects together. He said, well, I gotta talk to Sony to see what I'm gonna do. And I was like, man, they gave you $300 million and you can't put out an album when you want? Like, why do we gotta, like, I don't get that. So those are the things that from that standpoint that I was kind of like, I didn't quite get. I'm like, you own your own record label, but yet somebody else is telling you what to drop, when to drop. And ultimately, I was like, man, I was trying to get these artists who were trying to sign these deals. I was like, man, come over here independently and come get this money. Like, think about this. Yeah.
And Brian Turner over at Priority Records seemed like he was real easy to work with because he put out all that classic, thump stuff. He didn't put out thump.
Yep.
He put out the classic, R&B stuff, but he also had Easy. Yep. He put their stuff out, Priority. Yep. So Brian had a good situation over there.
Well, he had blew up on the California Raisins.
Right.
He did that California Raisins album, and I think that went gold for him. And that's kind of what put him on the map and kept him rolling. But, when you put out something, you put the Eazy-E project out and you put Priority, they was rolling. And then when they worked with Q, they kept it rolling. So then what happened when Eazy-E had passed away and they were looking for the next label or what could happen or what could be great, and they found No Limit, and we were already selling a lot of records independently, we just kind of took it from there and kind of ran with it and went all the way to the top. And that was really the focus. It's like, man, we were going to drop album after album after album. We were trying to, when we did the Down South Hustlers, I mean, you think about a record, that album and all the folks that were on that record and folks like UGK, like that album, that sound was gritty and it was dope and it was hard. And everybody was like, man, we had pretty much most of the hot artists from the South on that record. Just like when we did the West Coast Bad Boys, we had the hottest people on the West Coast on that record. And Master P was at the front of that whole thing saying Master P presents. So right. when you think about it, we were all about, driving results by getting in front of people, shaking hands, performing, doing shows, selling T-shirts, just giving away T-shirts, just merchandising and marketing. And I think going back to what we were talking about before, a lot of New York cats, they were showing up to cats on A&R day and just rapping. And we was like, man, why would we go there and rap? We could put our own record out independently. So on the West Coast, we could get our own manufacturing done. We could find a distributor, someone like St. Charles. St. Charles, an OG in the game.
Exactly.
E40's uncle taught us all about this music business and distribution and putting together one sheets and promoting your project and then pulling back the release date to get your pre-orders up and then dropping the project and getting a check up front and then making sure that you're dropping enough albums in your pipeline so you continuously having money. And it's to the point where distributors be like, well, we're not going to pay you. Well, hey, you know what?
Album, right?
I got 80,000 pre-orders on that one. Check first, or same time, I don't know you like that. You want these CDs, I'll get them to you. You want these cassettes and it's vinyl, I'll get it to you, but I need you to give me a check. And it was that relationship of continues to get money, like City Hall Records, St. Charles, the Solar Music Group, and then Southwest Wholesale, Selected Hits down in Tennessee. We were doing all of that and had a relationship with all those cats and putting out records and selling quite a few.
And it's funny how distributors will take your product, sell your product, so they can't pay you until you give them some more product.
Absolutely. Especially because they'll tell you, well, we're going to get returns. I'm like, well, look, man, the most you're going to get returns is 8 to 10%. 8 to 10%. The most you're going to get is 8 to 10%. And then you give it back to us. And then we're going to repackage it. And then we're going to sell the same product. So stop it. Distributors will be like, man, I'm going to get 70% back. No, you're not. Because the only way you're going to get, I used to know distributors, cats would tell me, man, I only pressed up 10,000 copies. And they said I have 15,000 in returns. I was like, well, how you get 15,000 returns and you only pressed up 10,000 copies? Because distributors were out there in the back door bootlegging your product, getting paid on the back end.
Doing that?
Oh, man. Distributors, some of those distributors are dirty where they're pressing up CDs and cassettes, putting vinyl, selling it on the side like a bootleg, and at the same time only selling.
How do you get the artwork?
They were scanning the artwork, man. They'd have graphic artists scanning the artwork, and then they would take the time to do a high quality process and then drop albums. So that's why you had to kind of just monitor what you were doing, because some of those distributors were beating you like that. And we were in a situation, honestly, we had, somebody who had our back like St. Charles, who was making sure that he was monitoring everything that was going out, because we had the relationship with the retailers. Once you have the relationship with the retailers, you know what's going on in the business.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it's a cold game, man. I'm telling you, it's a cold game. And I think what kind of threw folks off, I'll never forget. So I was over there, I think the Roots were on MCA at the time, and I was out there with, Jay Boberg, and I had just dropped the King George album, man. It was like 87 on the top 100. And if I remember correctly, it was 87 with a bullet and was moving up, and I think it went up to the 70s. And we were a few spaces ahead of the Roots at that time. They were in the top 100, but they were kind of sliding. And I remember telling Jay Boberg, I said, man, you got all these people, this whole row of people that are pushing the Roots. And I said, my record is outselling the Roots. It's just me dropping this record and going on the road with an artist like King George and working hard, and we're outselling the Roots. I said, why don't you just go ahead and give me the money and I'll promote all your records too, and we all make some money together. Right. And after the time I was telling them about DJ Screw, I said, man, I could get my boy Screw to screw all your albums, because they was like, what are you talking about? I said, I'll tell you right now, I'll get Screw to screw a country record, and it's going to make your country artists blow up, because people are going to listen to this Screw record. That's how hot Screw was at the time.
But you know what? People are followers. They're not going to sit up here and understand nothing until you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
And then
that's why nobody would take a chance, man. Nobody wanted to take a chance on Master P, because they didn't get it. I used to sit in with these record companies. They'd be like, well, what's your single? And I used to tell them, I said, well, we don't get paid to make singles. Singles is just giving it away. Why would I do a single when I'm selling albums? I said, now I'll promote a song, but we're promoting albums. So what major labels would do, they'd be like, oh, we're going to put these singles out. We're going to sell these singles. We're going to get it on the Billboard charts with these hot singles, and they're going to get people to go buy the album. And I'm like, well, why am I going to spend my money pressing up singles when I could just promote a record? I could promote a song. That's not a problem. But we're going to make people go, we're going to make the song so hot where people are going to go buy the album, because that's how we make money. We don't make money off of singles.
And that's what they were doing with the singles, right? they will ship 200 or 300 of those cassette singles that's in the little cardboard and they scanning them.
Scanning it. That's the thing, man. They were scanning that on the sound scan, and then next you know, you're like, man, I'm like, I know I'm selling more records than this dude. How the hell is he in the top 40 on Billboard in the single chart? That's the thing I can always say. I never had that game because I never had the relationship to do that.
Yo, let me explain something to you. My man was at a store in Brooklyn. He had about 500 cassette singles of the same shit. Like, yo, man, I got scan so many every hour. He said, after you can have them shits. I'm like,
that's how the game go, man. So what they do, right? Major labels is over there playing this game, doing the scan, and then the next thing you know, when the sound scan comes out and you see on the top, you're like, man, this record's on the top 200 or 100. And then they would say, oh, by the way, this is on the top 100. We need to order more units, and they order more units. So if you walk in and you see an end cap and you see all of these albums, you're going to be like, man, what the hell is this? Well, let me buy one and check it out. And the next thing you know it starts going from there, all because they created a buzz off of something that's fake. But they would always say, I would always have a record label say, oh, or one of these large companies say, oh, man, you need to have a single. I'm like, for what? We don't need a single. We need people to buy the album. They're going to buy the album based on the artwork. They're going to buy an album based on the stories. We're going to put them in the listening booths. We're going to do some end capping. People are going to listen to the record. And they're going to like what we have to say. They're going to buy the record. And that's basically how we blew up. So when we did the West Coast Bad Boys, we took all the popular rappers out of the different hoods in the West Coast. And when we dropped that album, if VanSilk was on the West Coast and you was a West Coast dude, I like VanSilk, I'm going to buy his record. And then next thing you know it, he heard another rapper on there that you like. Then you go, when their album comes out, you're going to go buy their record. And then they're going to buy the next record. So basically by putting Master P's name on the top, everybody was like, man, I got to get anything Master P does because this West Coast Bad Boys is hot. This Down South Hustlers is hot. And that's just how it blew up.
Because, man, I used to go to Epic. See my man OJ Wedlow.
Yep.
Yo, Epic used to have a wall full of albums on the floor of artists that I'd never heard of.
Ever heard of.
I'm like, yo, listen, what is this shit over here? I'm like, yo, when you know you can just go and pick up 4 and 5 of them shits off the floor.
Yep.
Or up in BMG, they will have a dumpster full of shit.
Yes.
I'm like, yo, I know some stores that will take these shit. The secondhand store will take them. Shit. But, man, I want everybody to know I'm talking to my man Tobin, down with Master P and No Limit from the very beginning. And I want to move forward on. Now that all the whole Master P life and No Limit life is over, you moved on your life and you restarted everything. You have a drink, a beverage, it's a cider. Could you explain to me still?
Yes.
I still haven't got my cans of cider yet.
Man, I got to get you, baby. I got to get you.
Explain to the people or what you're doing now as an entrepreneur. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I got a hard cider. So when you think about an alcohol beverage, it's 6.7% alcohol, and it's apple based. It's made from an apple juice or apple cider is pressed. So sometimes when you think about a beer is made from wheat and barley. When you talk about a cider, it's made from fruit. It's made from apples. Sometimes you can get a different fruit base. So we basically take an apple and ferment it to make the alcohol content go up. And then we basically take fruit to add fruit to give it different flavor. So the name of the company is called Psycho Cider. It's Xaiko, pronounced Psycho. And we've had some really good success with it. Right now we're only in Northern California, so we haven't branched out. I'm really trying to, I've been talking to my attorney about getting other locations, other states, so we can stay on the West Coast and work our way east. So when you think about it, when you talk about Psycho Cider, we use California apples, low sugar content. Everything we do is between 3 and 7 grams of sugar because we don't add any additives. We don't add any fructose. We don't add any unnatural sugars. Anything that it gives you that naturally sweet feeling like you're drinking something a little sweet because it's only 7 grams of sugar. So we use only natural fruit to make the cider. And, we submitted into the U.S. Open for beverages. So there's a U.S. Open for beverages. We put it in for hard cider, and we came out with the bronze. Our Kiwi Herman, it's a Kiwi lime cider that came out with the bronze, and it did really well for us. And we're just trying to keep going from there, man. I got the Illuminati, which is a lemon orange cider. It's like a lemon drop cider that we do. The Illuminati is big. I got one called Fantasy Love, which is a raspberry lemon that's really popular. And I got a Cherry Ice number 80, which is an ode to my boy Jerry Rice. We would have called it Cherry Rice, but people were like, well, is it made out of rice? So I said, nah, we're gonna call it Cherry Ice number 80, man. So we're doing all natural stuff. We're doing 4-pack cans that are in Northern California. You can get them in 4-pack cans, and mainly right now we're pushing everything on draft, man. We're selling it. We're selling them in kegs, and folks in the restaurants and bars have supported me so much. And I think it has to do with my background at, running No Limit Records, running Me and Mine Entertainment, having success with Lil Troy and Master P. People kind of feel what I'm doing and kind of taking the entertainment aspect of what I do and bringing it into the cider business. And right now, yeah, go ahead, man.
How long? Now, I know how many years have this been? I know from my understanding, been a couple of years. How long have you been doing this right now? Not giving up.
No, man. I've been doing this. This is the 3rd year. So understand, first year we were rocking and rolling, then COVID for the last year, and then coming into the 3rd year. And it's been really good for us, man. The COVID threw us off and it was tough. But I will tell you, we're kind of making a comeback. We're starting to do events again now. We did our Psycho Fest, which was huge here in California, Pleasanton, California. Psycho Fest was big. We did it at a place called McKay's Tap House in Pleasanton, California, and it was a madhouse. And we're going to be doing our next one coming up in the spring, the next Psycho Fest. And now that things have kind of opened back up, and we hope it stays open, we're doing that. We're also doing a rock show in January at a place called the Chabot. So the bottom line is, I came up with this idea about 10 years ago and I was going to do sake, right? The rice-based wine, right? And the Japanese rice wine. And I was going to do all these different flavors that I'm doing now. And what happened is, it's really difficult to get your liquor license when you're doing that. It's kind of difficult because you gotta have like a brewing license, and you also have to have a wine license. It's kind of weird. And I met a cat, and he was like, well, why don't you go with cider? And I didn't know anything about cider. I was like, well, how does cider work? I don't know. What is that? And I just started drinking cider, tasting cider, and seeing what works. I had ideas for flavors in my mind and names. And then what happened was, I went through the process, got my liquor license, my beer and wine license. And then it was like, okay, now let's just get these formulas approved, and let's just start dropping these different samples and different. I got a blueberry beret, which is a blueberry, a lemon that's just really popular. I got a watermelon high, which is a watermelon raspberry. So I mean, we're just continuously coming up with new concepts and new ideas, and just new and different flavors. I got this dragon zest, which is a dragon fruit and a lemon. And then my raspberry dragon fruit is mother of dragons. That one's really popular as well. So we're doing different flavors, doing something different. And then, oh man, I can't forget my tango mango, which is tangerine and mango. That one, man, everywhere between that and the Fantasy Love, that thing blows up. And then I got another one called Booty Tang that is a mixed berry lemon that really blows up at the bars and the restaurants. So I just continuously, driving people to restaurants and bars and getting them excited about it, having events when I can, and then it's been going great, man. And then, I think that the support of all the people that have been behind me, especially when the No Limit Chronicles came out, and during COVID, right, the No Limit Chronicles came out, the whole story of Master P, I was in it, and people just started to just reach out to me and want to talk to me. And then we started talking about Psycho Cider. And the next you know it, everybody was like, man, we got to get the Psycho Cider. And it's been really exciting.
And that's great because when I look at it, and I look at E40's into the beverage business, it looks like he's
Yes.
really into the beverage business.
Yeah, he's doing a lot with the wine, and he's doing a lot with his wine, and now he's doing more spirits, more hard alcohol. He's doing great with it. He's got some good distribution starting and starting to expand on the West Coast, and he's really well known on the West Coast. People know him, especially here in the Bay Area. He represents the Bay so well. People love him, and I always got love for 40, man. I've known 40 for a long time. And it's just because of his uncle his uncle taught us the game, man. When you think about 40 and Too Short, JT the Bigger Figure, and P, and like he just taught us how to go get this money, man.
And he's a chef. He got the chef thing going on.
Oh yeah, you got the goon with the spoon, man. The goon with the spoon.
It's like him and Snoop.
Yeah, they always reinvent themselves and continue to work. And I think that's the thing. If you are willing to work and you have that personality where people want to be around you because you just are that kind of person, there's nothing you can't accomplish and nothing you can't do.
Because as I was listening to you, and some people done gave up already because they didn't become millionaires or made a lot of money. People don't understand the grind of a real business.
Yes.
Dr. Dre didn't get to where he was. How many years? 20 years to get
to
really be happy?
Yes.
It don't happen. I mean, with these new artists today, a lot of things has happened overnight, but they really don't. They can't control their destiny.
Yeah, but they're an anomaly. When somebody gets hot like that, it's just the right place, right time, right sound, all of those things. What I always in general, because I teach over at Holy Names University. I'm a professor at Holy Names University in Oakland Hills. Go Holy Names Hawks, baby. Hopefully we'll start winning some basketball games sooner than later. But I tell them it's you got to continuously work. You got to continuously have communication. You got to continue to work with people and talk to people and get them excited and buy into who you are. And I'm just going to be real. I'm not doing too bad for myself, man. I live in California in a nice home. I got a nice family. Life's good. I can't complain. And I think that the more people start thinking about, let me get on base first. Because what happens, new artists, they're like, man, I got to hit a home run. I got to get 1 million downloads. I got to make this money. And the whole point is just get on base, man. Just get yourself a good group of folks that like what you do. And then you build from there. And then you put out one single and see how it does. Then you put out the next single. And then you put an album together and put that album. And then you work on the next project. And you keep consistently dropping music and traveling and get in front of people and start building your name. Then you start to see like, man, I'm starting to make this thing happen. To your point, most people just say, man, I'm going to go blow up, and it doesn't happen, and then they just kind of give up and move on. And it doesn't, and everybody's not going to make it. Everybody's not going to blow up. So when I think about working with someone like Lil Troy was about to quit the music business. He was done with it. He's like, man, I'm not making no money. These artists are crazy. And when I talked to him, like, man, you should do your own album and own all the rights and own all the music. That's when he was like, really? I was like, yeah, why deal with these artists? They don't want to do the work. At least you will do the work. So that's when we put that project together and blew that project up. And he became a Lil Troy, as everyone knows. But Lil Troy was in the game for a minute, not really selling a lot of records, selling a few thousand copies. But when he invested in himself and we worked together, we created history. And I just think if people keep working and stop thinking it's going to happen overnight, that's how they blow up. That's how they get to where they want to go. And it's stages of this thing, man. Man, I'm selling a lot of cider. In fact, if it wasn't for COVID, I know I would be a lot further along because I was looking at buying companies and buying other companies, and now things slow down. Now I'm kind of back on the upward swing now that COVID's over, and hopefully it stays gone away. I know they say that there's different variants are coming, but if we could just if we could just keep going, and hopefully it doesn't rear its ugly head, we will sell a lot of cider. We will continue to look for other companies to buy, and we continue to grow the business.
And I'd like to say greetings to my sister from Yada TV, Tara. She just joined in. For those who just joined in, this is my man, Tobin Costen. He was there with Master P. He's was the managing partner from the very beginning with No Limit Records, and we've been discussing his life from when we started talking when
Years ago.
I might have been one of the first people on the East Coast you were sending stuff to.
Yeah, that was true, man. You know, it was just, man, look, I always looked up to you, man. You was a legend in the game. And, you know, I was a fan of the original Spinderella as well. So, you know, I always, you know, looked up to you in hip hop, and you always had the relationships with folks. So when we connected, I was like, man, VanSilk, man, I think we're going to be able to get something done and make something happen. And even though it didn't happen the way we wanted it to, we still remain cool and friends, and always, you know, catch up with each other when we can. And that's the important part of it. And that's what it's about, man. It's just about, I mean, you know, you're going through a challenge right now in your life. And it's wonderful to see that you keep grinding, you keep doing your shows, you keep trying to promote, you promoting hip hop, and at the same time, you fighting the good fight to make sure that you're healthy.
And can I say something, to be honest with everybody? And this is, I think this is something I was supposed to have done in 2020. You know, let's talk with VanSilk, and I just started it to say, let me do it because I have to stay busy. But a lot of people see me come on here, not knowing that I'm in the bed on the average 16 hours a day.
Yeah. I
mean, like, I'm literally in the bed 16 hours a day. Just when I take my grandkids to school, leave at 7:20 and get back here at 8:20, from like 9 o'clock until like 1:40 or 2 o'clock, time for me to go get them, I'm in the bed. I mean, I'm doing my things, but the energy level, then when I go and get them and come back home, like 4 o'clock, I'm here. 4:30, I've been in the bed until it's time to talk to you. And like, if not, I didn't have to do this tonight too. I would have just been in the bed, because people don't understand, even at stage 2, like, you you lose sight. Sometimes you lose color. Like, you just go gray. Yeah. My skin is I'm just sitting in the, I keep it dark when I'm doing these because my skin is horrible now. Like, listen, I'm losing my eyebrows, and I didn't lose the hair here, but the hair here, then the skin is all blotched, and my scalp. My daughter called me the police officer from Boys in the Hood, the one that had him up.
Oh my God!
It's like, listen, man, you getting dark. My hands are getting dark, the inside, the outside, and it's like I'm rubbing alcohol. I'm like, yo, that's just come with it, you know. And
Sharon, FaceTime video.
Hold on 1 second. That's my sister, Sha Rock.
Oh, yes.
Hold on, she calling me FaceTime for. But but I just want to say that she has a show on Rock the Bells with her and Grandmaster Caz, and they on every day. And I'm glad that she's definitely on Rock the Bells, and
she deserves that, man. That's the thing, man. It's like, I love when I hear about like people in the game who've done well and need to be heard more and talked about more. I think that's important, man. I love hip hop, man. And I started off wanting to be an MC and DJing, and I was DJing and all that. And then I kind of turned into the business part of it. And most people know me from the business part of it. Most people know me from what I did with No Limit Records and working with P and being a part of that success. Most people know me from working with Lil Troy and the Wanna Be a Baller success and the Sitting Fat Down South, and working with King George and The Life of a Kingpin and True Player, No Limit, and all that. So it's just definitely one of those things where when I became a professor, people were like, oh, they Google me and they're like, oh my God, you work with all these people, you know all these people. It's just, it's kind of like it's two lives. Like, it's been so long ago, you forget that all the people that you know or you work with or were going to work with, it is definitely interesting. That's for sure.
And I can't make no announcement about Rock the Bells till I officially hear it from LL Cool J.
Yes.
But
another one of the legends I love, man. When I heard that my favorite song, I'm Bad, man. I don't care if that record's on, man. I turn it up. I tell everybody, shut up. That is my record, man. I go do a karaoke bar and I go do that record, man. I love LL so much, man.
And last night I was on with DJ Hurricane. He has his J-Hats app, which he have other DJs on it as well as
That's what's up.
you know, Edo G and other people and Lord Finesse. And then, you know,
Yes.
Chuck D has his situation, which Chuck D been trying to get me on for like the last year or two. Like,
man,
just
I love Chuck too.
Just do an hour. And
yeah.
You know, listen, man, you got to really have the energy to do
yeah.
this.
Yes.
You know, listen, man, I'm going to be honest, man. I'm 63 years old. You know what I'm saying? I've been around since 1978.
Yes.
And you have to enjoy what you do. Like, there's nothing you can't tell me about when it comes to the culture of hip-hop from what I experienced and seen and what I've done. Even from the mixtape DJs to the whole urban model game with the Black Men magazine. I had my magazine, Titanium Girls. And, you know, with me creating the whole Admiral Girl hosting party with Buffy the Body Hoops, Esther Baxter, Glory Velez, and all these people don't understand my input in a lot of things. But I don't pat myself in the back because I support everybody. You
do. You always have, man. You've always supported everyone. You've always been, you know, I think, you know, it's time to tell your story because you've been part of so many things and part of so many special parts of hip hop. And I think the more people get to see you and talk to you, every opportunity you get to talk to someone or get on their show, you should, because the world should know about VanSilk and all that you've done for hip hop and all you've done just for people in general, man.
I mean, it's like right now, I call him my little brother, DJ K Slay.
Mm-hmm.
And he could drop 200 MCs because he did the 100. Now it's 200.
Yeah.
8 bars. And he's editing everything together. But he also cut everybody their piece. You know? And on this go-round, for my end, I got Johnny Watt Rayvon on, Positive K, Shaw Rock, Sparky D, Waterbed Kev, his brother Master Rob, King Son.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Sweet T's on there. Hurricane got DMC and Run. They on there.
Oh, wonderful.
Snoop did his. But that's K-Slay.
Yeah.
You know, you got generations, almost 5 generations from Coke Rock on down.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't understand. When I did Rap Mania, the pay-per-view, first hip-hop TV special ever, nobody believed I put 50 groups, big names on TV, and I came, originally supposed to have been Rakim versus King for $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And no, Kumo D and LL for $1 million. Rakim came for $500,000, which legally I had Don King and Donald Trump putting the money up for that.
Yeah.
And you know, Rakim never came to the table. You know, and just like what happened with Kane and KRS One, that was a discussion with me and King last year about trying to pull it off because Swiss Beats and them wasn't really doing rap. And he said, let's go for KRS One, but my people didn't come to the table with the money. I knew what Chris wanted to do this because we was going to tape it and sell it. Kane was with it. But it all come down to, just like even doing Sisters in the Name of Rap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it all come down to when I met Ann Capone from Compton's Most Wanted, and they signed over with Charles Huggins.
Yes.
And Lonzo Williams and them, or a group out of Detroit called Prince Vince and them. That was out. You know, or working with this group, or writing a song for Curtis Blow, or me and Melly Mel, Police Academy 6, because I wanted to do a raps. I wanted to be in a video. Because I'm not an MC. I was never a big boy. I didn't wear fat laces. I didn't do none of that. So while they was 16, 17, I was already 20, 21.
Yeah.
I'm not, no. So, like, I still got a lot that I want to do. That's why I got the Rappermania 50th anniversary.
Oh, man. Those are dope, man.
You know, the T-shirts are $35. The point is the 50th anniversary is coming up. You know, I respect what Oz did with Ralph McDaniels, with Mass Appeal.
Yes.
A lot of people don't understand that hip-hop is in every language.
Absolutely.
And it's been in every language for years. Just like the Universal Hip Hop Museum, just because it's in the Bronx, it's not about just the Bronx. It's about hip-hop in the whole.
Yes.
I was taking it with the staff. You got Pete Nice from Third Base. You got Paradise from X-Clan, who are the curators. They everything that's in the 3,000 square feet pop-up spot for Revolution of Hip Hop. But the museum is across the street, 54,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And it's sitting on a complex where there's going to be housing development. You know, And it's right there in the South Bronx. And to have LL and Nas come at the groundbreaking and have the support with Microsoft and other people, and still that, you know, by the time it opened in 2024, I'll be 65 years old.
Yeah.
That'd be nursing home status for me.
Nah, man, not you.
But check this out. It's going to be here when we're gone. My grandkids could say that's my great-grandfather.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are flyers of my shows in the Smithsonian Institute that they bought from Sotheby's.
Yeah.
And you know, people call me up and want to do interviews, and I don't do interviews with everybody because, you know, just because I might have 10 or 15 followers, people watching now, it's not now, it's when I repost it, is when you get the numbers.
Yes. Yes.
People don't understand analytics. You know,
nah, they don't.
With the platform. I watch Kwame Brown. I watch DJ Akron.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Let me see. I watch the movement of what they do and the money they make, and Drink Champs and what Wallow and them do with Boston, what Joe Button is doing, and what they do, and that's what my plan is to do, to bring the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, cats reach out to me all the time about doing interviews, and you know, sometimes I want to talk to them, and sometimes I don't. Depends on how they want to tell the story, right?
Well, I'm glad you want to talk to me, man.
Oh man, I'm always want to talk to you no matter what, man. Man, you tell me you want to talk to me, I'm always like, man, I can have a conversation with VanSilk to the world. That works for me 100%.
You know who I'm going to get? I'm going to put him on the hook. David D. Cook.
Oh man, that you talk about a legend. You talk about a guy who knows some stories. That guy knows a lot of stories, man, and what he does.
And I end up like, listen, David, let me just tell you the story because there's a lot you just don't know, and it was. But it's not a disrespect because there is a lot that you don't know.
Yes.
You know, like okay, for instance, when the battle happened in Harlem World with Busy B and Kool Moe Dee, a lot of people said he was there. I know he wasn't there because I was there.
Yeah, everybody always wants to talk where they were, man, about they were somewhere. I've had that too before. Cass would be like, man, I was over there. I'm like, you weren't, dog.
And that was a show promoted by me and Cool DJ AJ and the Harlem World crew.
Got it. Hey, I got a shout out to my man Grand Mixer GMS, man, one of the hottest DJs up in the Northwest, Spokane, Washington. He was my partner at KAGU Radio, man. We had the only rap show in Spokane, the Rap Attack. So I got to say what's up to him, man. He's over there checking us out.
Well, he need to come on in here and talk to us face to face, man.
Man.
Hold on, I just invited him. Ain't no hiding out over here now. I need to meet.
Come on, GMS, where you at, man? He might be sitting around in the hot tub or something, man. I don't know what he's doing.
Hold on. I just hit the invite. But
okay.
Like I said, man, it's great that we get to know those around the world and what they did in the city. What was the guy in San Francisco? Motorcycle Mike or something? In like 1980 to put a record out?
Oh yeah, that was like in the 80s. There he is, Grand Mixer GMS in the mix. What's up, baby?
What's up? How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Brother? Nice to meet you, man. VanSilk.
Hey, it's nice to meet you. Hey, I love this. What you guys are doing. Hey, thank you for having me on here. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Listen,
hey,
man, the door's open here.
Hey, man, GMS works with Nasty Nest. They are always in the mix doing something special, man. What do you?
I know somebody within that camp just passed not too long ago. Because I seen it.
Well, let's see.
Ness Rodriguez, I think it is on his page.
Yeah, Love J just passed.
Yeah, Love J.
That's probably what it was. Because I had reached out to Mellow Mayonnaise not too long ago and everything. But I know Ness, and Ness was really another person that me and African Islam always talked about what he did for hip hop, man. He just don't get the accolades, man. You know.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I mean, what you gotta understand what Ness did for West Coast hip hop, especially in the Northwest. I mean, I always say it all the time. Wasn't for Grand Mixer, GMS, and Ness, I would have never had the success I had. They taught me about mixing and mixing on the radio and going live and all that stuff, man. And the way GMS used to do his mixes and blew up the radio show we did together. So Ness does not get the love and respect he deserves because he is an absolute legend, man. And I just love him, and I know GMS does. We're all like family, man. That Northwest connection is hot, man.
And GMS, out of respect for you, and like I said, I can't know everything. I need you to follow me because, again, like I said, the Universal Hip Hop Museum doors are open to everybody that can contribute to hip hop. It ain't just saying about the Bronx. You understand?
Okay, definitely.
You know, and Pete Nice from Third Base, and Paradise, and it's from the flyers to the artifacts. All that's important. Because when we're gone, what is it going to be about?
Absolutely.
Right.
We don't
Absolutely.
No disrespect, but we can't have it saying like, well, what's these two little kids running around in Florida, the two twins?
What are those dudes, man? I forgot, man. Somebody showed me one of them videos, man.
If we don't get it right, they'll be the founders of hip hop. But here's something I want everybody to think about.
Oh, man.
The first 25 years of hip hop is very important. 73 to 98. What y'all think?
Yep. I agree with you 100%, man. I really do, man. That lane, the Island Boys, that's what they call. We the Island Boys. I forgot, man. Yeah, the Island Boys.
But hold on. Ness and Sir Mix-a-Lot worked a lot together, right?
Yeah,
man, they were partners, man.
Okay, that was
right. Yeah, the record label was called Nasty Mix Records, and that came from Nasty Ness and Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah,
and Ness was actually the first DJ to play Mix-a-Lot on the radio.
Absolutely.
And Ness. So Ness is basically the one who discovered him, but it was really through the help of Ed Locke.
Yeah.
Wow. Because Ed said, "Hey, let's go check out Sir Mix-a-Lot down." He was DJing somewhere. Ness didn't want to go, because they were actually, I guess they were rivals. Ness was the radio jock, Mix was the street jock.
Yeah.
And then so Ed convinced Ness to go, and Ness went down there, and he saw Mix-a-Lot, and he said, "Oh man," he was just amazed at how good he was. Yeah. Now Mix-a-Lot, when he talks about that night, he says he saw Nasty Ness come in there, and he just went to work. He was like, because I don't know if he said he got nervous or whatever. He probably was, but he just started scratching and doing all this stuff, basically, because he knew that Ness was there.
Yeah.
So he had to
step his game up, man. When Ness anytime Ness would come see me spin, man, I was the same way. Same with GMS, man. When they come into place, man, you're like, okay, I really got to bring out all the records and really mix it up, man.
And I like to say hi to BTP Media Group. Hit me up if you need me for something.
Yeah.
But also respectfully out of California, let's not forget, and I don't care what people want to call it, I'm never going to forget Egyptian Lover.
Oh, yes.
Toddy T, Battle Ram.
Yep.
Me and Davey D. Cook was talking about some of the early guys that came out in 1980 up in Northwest. Then you still had Disco Daddy, who had his record. And Disco Daddy is from Harlem.
Yeah.
And he went to the service. So, I mean, like, when you're talking about California, you're talking about West Bubblefuck to West Bubblefuck. South to West Bubblefuck. Like, there's so many things that happen in Northern California that a person in the Bronx like me in 78, 79 don't know about.
Yeah.
Y'all guys that live that, y'all got to help teach us that as well. Y'all can have flyers from 81, 82, 83 that we never seen.
Yeah.
And songs and records and acetates. All this, your stories and everybody's story is important, no matter what you did, whether you sold 100 million records or whether you sold 10,000. You're part of the hip-hop culture. That's
real talk, man. And that's one thing that people.
From me, from the B-boys to the lockers to all that, even God bless his soul, Fred Berry sat on my couch in Baltimore, was explaining everything to me about the pop locking and everything from the 70s, and he was older than us. You
Oh
know,
yeah, he was an older cat.
Just lost a few dancers not too long ago, and you know, and
Yep.
Uncle Jam's Army. Yes, I mean all these legendary people. Roger Clayton,
Yep.
come on, it's important that we get it together. And I need you to make sure that me and you are in contact as well, so I can plug you into what we got going on here as well. Because
Absolutely,
I don't want to see no museum. And oh yeah, we got 8 Ball of Tennessee. We got DJ Magic Mike that ain't been out for a long time down in Florida. Latrim, Misha Me, Canada. I mean, Texas, Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit, Trick. Atlanta rappers, young Ralph, all these kids that was coming out. Listen, you got to build it up. And I got to congratulate Scorpio from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. He has a new show coming on starting the first of the year. It's international hip hop.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm a fan of Scorpio too, man.
Only international hip hop he's playing.
That's wonderful, man.
Because him and Melly Mel and the Sugar Hill Gang tour so much overseas, he get to hear the music and meet the artists over there. And Ella loved the idea. And like I said, we need to branch our hip hop knowledge. We need to understand what happened in your city.
Yeah.
From graffiti artists to b-boy, everything.
Yeah, my man Billy Jam, man, was out here in the Bay Area, man, and he is so knowledgeable about. He interviews so many people like on Soul Beat and 4080 magazine, and man, there's just so much story for him to tell, man. So
just like in Chicago, we just lost Tim Ethers. He made Jalil's One Love T-shirt, and b-boy. He died of cancer 2.5, 3 months ago. He'd been fighting cancer for 10, 15 years. I missed Tim. And when I got out of the hospital, he was giving me encouraging words about what to do after my operation with cancer. And the whole thing comes down to they started b-boying down in 82.
Yeah.
Down in Chicago. But then also, just less than a month ago, Charlie Rock, Salsa, Dancing Doug, the original b-boys from New York.
Yes.
They're all 65 and over.
That's crazy when you think about it like that, man.
No, but
those are the cats I looked up to, man, and now they 65. Like, oh my goodness.
But what I'm trying to say, not trying to be funny, they never got the acknowledgement that a Crazy Legs would get, or Mr. Wiggles, or Fable Boys. By the time it got to 82, they was already then they hitting 30.
Yeah.
And city councilman just awarded all of them, about 20 of them, with their name on a proclamation.
Wow.
Even Shaw Rock, because she used to be a B-girl.
Yeah, she was.
Melly Mel's, Flash, Scorpio, they were B-boys. Pow Wow from Soul Sonic. A lot were B-boys before they even became an MC.
Yeah.
So it's a lot in this history, that we all need to acknowledge. And I don't want to be stupid to not understand why did me and you can't have a conversation, GMS. It's the same thing and no different with me and White Flash out of Connecticut and the Skinny Boys. And there's a whole with Connecticut,
absolutely,
with hip hop.
Shout out to the Skinny Boys, man. I love that, man. The Human Jot Box, man. I love the Skinny Boys.
So,
Rip the cut.
And me and Chuck D be having these type of conversations, and me and Shaw Rock had these type of conversations. And I think, if you really want to dig deep into the history of this culture, we have to talk to those who was around.
Absolutely.
I ain't talking about those who just, but the one that done learned everything and he done told a lie. No, you got to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I can't be dealing with people who done learned the story.
Absolutely.
Tell the story like they was there, because I know there was one show that I did, me and Mike and Dave, that didn't happen. And it was a show with Master Flash, the Treacherous 3, and the Crash Crew. And I know the show didn't happen. And somebody, man, I went to that.
Yeah, remember the Crash Crew? Yeah.
That shit was fire. I'm like,
yes.
fuck this motherfucker.
That show didn't happen. Well, people have a tendency of embellishing things. It's kind of like the Wilt Chamberlain 100-point game. Everyone says they were at that 100-point game. I mean, people just want to be a part of history when they think something happened. Like, when back in the day, we used to tour, open up for Tupac, and people always talk about, man, I saw you in the city. And I'm like, we weren't in that city. We missed that show. So it's always people have this idea of what happened or what they did and their perception, and a lot of it, some of it's because they just want to be a part of something special.
Yeah, but then okay. Well, here's Cool Herc Party.
Yes.
Yep. I was there. Okay, you was 11 and you was there.
Well, I'll tell you, I wasn't 11, and I definitely was not there. I wasn't that old. At Cool Herc Party in 73, I was in diapers.
Even Red Alert, who became an official senior citizen this year, because his birthday is on November 27th.
Yes.
He's still then I wasn't even there.
There you go.
The person that I know right now, besides Cool Herc's sister Cindy, that was there was Coke LaRock.
Yeah.
That was there. That's it. Now, those who knew that was there, that lived in this building, different. Ain't nobody else in hip-hop could say they was there but Coke LaRock.
Yes.
And that's where you leave it at. Don't go around and saying like, yo, man, I was at this party. No, you wasn't.
I was 9 years old. I snuck in, man. So, I mean, that's but that goes back to the point where people want to be involved in something special and be a part of something special. So anytime that they're saying that they were at an event that they weren't, it's just because they want to be a part of it. And I don't knock people for it. I don't think it's necessary. You don't need to lie and say you were somewhere that you weren't. I just think that people want to be, they get excited and they want to be a part of it and say, hey, who doesn't want to say they were a part of the origination of hip hop, or when hip hop first originated, I was there. I was part of it. And, people will do that. That's for certain. I mean, I know for myself, I owe a lot to hip hop, man. Hip hop's the reason why I was able to buy my house. Hip hop was the reason why I was able to travel to a lot of places. And look, I grew up in Europe and I was able to travel, but hip hop took me to another level and introduced me to so many different people. And I'm so thankful for hip hop. If it wasn't for hip hop, I would have never met Grand Mix or GMS, Nasty Ness, Mix-a-Lot, Master P, Snoop Dogg, Juvenile, like all the people I've met because of hip hop is special to me. Folks like my boy Octavius Miller, rest in peace to his brother Singer Miller. I mean, I would have never met all of these people. Cats like SK, Stan Cobble, Baby Luke, Lil Troy. All of these people I met because of hip hop, because it's so special. And I loved it, man. I loved it from the time I was in New York as a youngster, listening to hip hop at the age of 10, 9 years old, in the Bronx at my grandmother's house. It's special and always will be special to me. And to this day, because of my experience in hip hop and my music background, I know what's a hit record, whether it's in 2021 or 2022 or not. I know it's a hit record. I know it's not. And I just love it, man. I just love being a part of it.
And it's funny when I take it like, sometimes people be telling me shit like, I didn't almost believe this motherfucker. I'm like, yo. I'm thinking about starting a whole new podcast called Cut the Bullshit. Because
the bottom line is I'm with you on that. And you got to understand, people have their own mindset of what good looks like and what's good to them, though.
It's funny for my generation. There's a lot that want to be before 1979, before record. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have no flyers proving that you was there before record.
Yeah.
But I got on the mic back in the day. Listen, you get on the mic saying, yo, Sharon, your mama needs you to come upstairs. That doesn't make you an MC. Now, there was a lot of groups. There was a lot of people that got on the mic. But with your impact, what did you do? Bam Bottle used to put the whole Bronx River on a flyer.
Yes.
Me, my flyer, if it said Funky 4, Cold Crush, Gremlin, Fantastic 5, and your name was at the bottom near the price, you either had to hand out a flyer or you was whack or you was on the come
up. Well, you weren't putting nobody whack on the ticket, man. I can understand that.
I know how to read the flyers from the old back. Me and Charlotte be discussing flyers from back in the day. We know how to read the flyers, and we can tell you right offhand, like, yo, that flyer was made, but the show never happened. You know, some people don't want to admit. And then, you know, like sometimes I had friends, people that I knew, like, yo, they had a girl with them. Like, yo, man, yo, this is my man over here. Yo, man, you remember the time we did this?
That's funny. Like, yo, people always want to impress somebody. That's like, part of the gig.
And I'm over here like, yeah. And I'm like, yo, this motherfucker lying. But at the end of the day, it's funny.
Yes.
Like I said, if God's willing, it's my duty. As I'm not a hip hop historian, I call myself a true historian because you're not no bullshit.
Yes.
And I'd rather debate you like me and Shah Rock go at it. Because there were places that she was at that I wasn't at. Mm-hmm. She was younger and you couldn't be every place in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Like, there was some people that wasn't allowed at a certain time. Melly Mel told me him and Creole couldn't go past 149th Street. So that means you couldn't go over to Patterson Projects where I was born, and Nate Archibald come from God Fisher, Ivan Barkley, and from Digging in the Crates. We lived in Patterson where the 17th Division of the Black Spades was. Then we moved to John Adams. But me, AJ, Lubbock, Starsky, Phase 2, Diamond D, Lord Finesse, Fat Joe, Flash, Coco from SWV, Africa Islam, Melly Mel, we all lived in 10456 zip code.
Oh, yeah.
Mean Gene. So that basically means from 149th Street to like 165th Street, we all was like in that crowd. And a lot of us didn't even know each other in the beginning. Like Lord Finesse didn't even know that Phase 2 lived in this building because it's almost 16 years.
That's amazing. I mean, when you think about that, like, you know, you get people who are talented like that, and they don't even know they live in the same building. That's crazy.
And the building was only 6 floors.
Wow, now that's even crazier. 6th floor, you don't even know that's a trip.
He was a kid compared to FaZe.
Yes.
FaZe died a year and a half ago. He was 64. What is Lord 50?
Maybe.
50? Right.
I don't even know if that.
Being around, we ain't no pedophilia shit over here, but like I'm saying, why would he want to know him if there's a 14, 15-year difference? Lubbock Starsky mother, back in 77, he had to come out of the park in the daytime. He couldn't even come out. So he'd be out the park 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, play this music. Yes. Mean Gene and Theodore, which lived across the street from Lubbock's project, they'd come out at night.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a whole lot that went on. You had Soundview with Bam, with Disco King Mario. You had the South Bronx with AJ and St. Mary's Park. You had Project with Lubbock Starsky. You had 63 Park with this here. You had Herc over here. You had Brothers Disco Funky over here. Mount Vernon, you had the Collins Brothers. I mean, all this in park jams.
Yeah.
That's not even talking about Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Harlem.
Yeah. That's real talk.
So I mean, there's a lot there. There's a lot of projects that were going on, music coming out. On some real shit. What about the park jams in California and Cleveland and Chicago and Detroit?
Yeah, I mean we had a lot of them, especially out here, you know, the Bay Area, down in Los Angeles. There's a ton of
whether you had MC on the mic or not, you still had DJs out in the parks.
Man, I remember going to they had MCs in the park down in San Antonio, you know, San Antonio, Texas, and Houston, and so everybody was doing that, man. That's the deal.
Hey, even in Spokane, you had B Mello and Johnny V DJing down at Liberty Park.
Yep, down at Liberty Park.
But see, but this is that you just told me something that I don't know. Which B Mello and Johnny there might be flyers from 82, 83 with them that y'all guys gotta locate.
Yeah,
Y'all got to
absolutely.
get that history of what happened and who came out. Whether like if Sway and Tech when it was up there, KML Radio.
Yep.
And they switched it to a religious radio. Or you had Greg back at K-Day.
Yep.
It was another DJ with a Julio G or something. Julio
G, yeah.
Yep.
Did he pass?
I think so, yeah.
He passed, right?
Oh no, I don't think Julio G did. The one I'm thinking of, I don't think did.
And then like Chicago, you have
I'm not sure.
He passed. And
right
after Islam used to go down before he started doing right at the same time he started messing with Ice-T in the early '80s. He would go down to Chicago with Funk Farley and all of them, hip hop and
Oh wow, yeah.
Africa Islam. That's what he did.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, how can your ears do it? But that's what he did, and he had the flies. He played with Funk Master Farley and all these dudes in Chicago, and they had the skating rink, and like. It was just a mixture, man. And I'm glad that hip hop moved out of New York and to other states, because if not, it would have been dead. It would have just been one sound, as opposed to getting how we live in LA and our slang is different, and Texas slang is different, and the South slang is different, in Miami bass and all that.
I mean, you can do Mississippi, Alabama. Everybody's got their own way of saying things and doing things. And, I got nothing but love for, I learned the game of distribution in the record business and putting records out on the West Coast. I learned to DJ and I always DJ, but learned to DJ and mix on the radio from folks like GMS and Nasty Ness up in the Northwest. And then honestly, being down in Louisiana and Texas and Mississippi and Alabama and Florida and selling records down there, it just, I just kind of been all over the place. And then in the Midwest and Chicago and Detroit and selling records out there. So I just kind of learned the different sounds of what's going on out there. And I was able to kind of, make a living doing that, putting out records, cats like Mr. Mark and mixed DJs and working with folks like, Franz and then Trace Dog and hanging out with people like Chewy Gomez and I'm just telling you, man, hip hop, I will say that again, man, hip hop is definitely something that I love. I've always loved it from the first time I heard it. And I'm just so appreciative of being a part of it.
It's the last genre of music. There's not, even though the stuff they got today, you want to call it trap or whatever, but it's the last.
It's still hip hop. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still, people can call it what they want. It's still hip hop. It's telling the message. It's telling the story. It's the music. It's making people want to dance. It makes people want to think. It makes people want to fall in love. Like the hip hop piece of it, man, is huge.
But when I heard sipping on this shit, I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. Was they talking about Vic's Formula 44 or what? Like, was they actually drinking Bill Serp in a cup?
Oh, man, get that codeine with that 7-Up, man. That big gulp, man.
Sipping on this dessert. Like,
hey, man, I'm gonna tell you, man. The first time I seen, I've never partaken in drinking in syrup, but the first time I seen it, I was at DJ Screw's house, and they were just passing this cup along. I was like, "What are they doing?"
Hey, listen, man, but it's like you go to Texas. I went to Texas. My man Russ Corley had a club down there. They did Wednesday called Milkshake or with all that.
Mm-hmm.
And go down there, and I'm sitting down there. We had a party. Actually, I was managing Lyric, and Terrell Owens had a birthday party for him. I'm down there at the club in Houston, Texas, because Texas got some beautiful women. But at the end of the night, they're doing a line dance. I'm like, what the fuck is all this shit? So hold on a second. So K Slade got booked to go to play out in Iowa.
Okay. I've been to Iowa. Man, Iowa loves hip hop, man.
Hold on. But when K came with that New York shit, they was just looking at him.
They didn't know what he was talking about.
They don't know what. K's like, yo, where's the DJ that plays here all the time? Because he playing what he think is hot from New York, because he ain't never been to Iowa.
No, man. It's different sound.
So he like, yo, man, I don't know what the fuck they listen to out here, but whatever it is, I'm going to pay you to go ahead and play, because this shit is not right, because I don't have nothing that they want. And then when he went to Texas, he told them, why didn't you tell me there was a certain type of records they like to play at the end of the night. I think there's 3 or 4 type of line dance records they like to play. And the whole club line dance. I'm like, yo, god damn. It's just like, listen, if you ain't never been to, don't go to Alabama and think that you're gonna rock New York shit.
No, definitely not. I mean, you know, this is a different sound. Yeah.
You ain't got those local rappers that come out of their neighborhood.
They're not full of it. One thing you got to do is just understand sound. So when you look at East Coast music or East Coast rap or New York rap is beat driven, and if you listen to the South, it's more melody and it's music driven, right? It's more keys, it's more sounds. East Coast, man, you get a good hit record or get that beat going, that drives the record, it drives the sound.
Yeah, but dog, at one point early in the game, in the middle 80s, yeah, you can get away playing New York shit in every state. But once y'all started dropping records in these other states,
definitely.
Get down to Alabama and Mississippi, Tennessee, and they want that Southern bounce shit. I don't care what the hell came out of New York.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to be real with you. Some of the most famous people in New York would go down to Mississippi, Alabama, and Texas and get booed off stage.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't understand. And they'd have like a top 10 record, have a gold or platinum record, top 10 record, get booed off stage. I've seen it.
When I was managing Hoops, and we went for her to host a party, but Gucci Mane was on a party, and Waco mom, Debbie, came that night.
Yep.
He had on this, first I didn't know who the fuck he was. You know, he had the ice cream man on his neck and shit. And he's down there looking like a big ass Otis Redding and shit. And he got on the mic. And all of a sudden, all the girls just started, I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Man, he just had what they want.
When you being naive, because you stuck in your ways, you got to understand. The ice cream or whatever his song was, something ice cream or whatever it was.
You talking about Duro, that ice cream paint job?
Talking about Gucci Mane song.
The Gucci Mane record? Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell was going on, man. I thought I landed on another planet.
Hey, people love Gucci Mane, and he came. I know he came and rocked it. I know that. So I'm just telling you, man. One thing to your point. When hip hop was going across the West Coast and the South, it was just like, man, we loved it. But you definitely are right. When folks got their own sound and they kind of twisted things a little bit, people were just looking for their own sound.
When NWA came out, fuck the police and all that shit. I know certain rappers in New York trying to rap and make music just like them. Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's
hold on, and thank you, Ada. Yes, and it's sad. Dolph memorial was today.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace to Dolph, man. Dolph was a good dude, man.
I don't know, brother. I made a call out online that I wish Whack 100 and Big U will get together and get all these young rappers together.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got the ears of a lot of these young rappers. Like, yo, listen, man. And I would suggest Nori from Drink Champs. I would suggest what's his name, Gilly the Kid, because they did, you know, with the Quando Rondos and all of them, and bring Boosie and get these young rappers together, man. Because it's not even the young rappers. They boys and they stupid shit. When you just look at the old block shit with A-Rod, you beat the kid down. A 17-year-old kid just popped the shit out of you.
Yeah.
In old block. You know, King Von. You know, like, come on, man. Like, you know, Pop Smoke. I mean, like, what is it? So I didn't want to jump the subject, but the whole point is, if you go down the list of known and unknown or on the come up, it got to be over 150 of these kids in the last year and a half.
I mean, it's unfortunate. You know, I think, you know, when I think about older rappers, you know, guys that are established and dying, it makes me sad because it's like you get it. You push through the game and you work through the game and you risk your life, and then you get to a point where you set yourself up for success and then you get killed. It's like, man, it's sad. And, you know, so many people, man, I've known so many people in the last 22 years have gotten killed in this game. And it's just unfortunate. You know, look, life is hard enough as it is to live. I mean, you know, you dealing with cancer. There's a Kango kid dealing with cancer. Folks dying from cancer.
I mean, educated rapper in his group died of cancer. If you go and look, from last year this time, we lost ecstasy for Houdini.
Yep.
I was talking to Prince Marky D 2 o'clock in the morning, and he died. I
still can't believe that happened, man. It's still,
Prior to that, you had Lubbock Starsky cardiac arrest.
Yep.
Ready Red cardiac. I think it was cardiac arrest, if I'm not sure. You had Mr. Freeze from the Jazzy 5 in his mother's bathroom. Told Kevin Rockwell, my chest hurt, and Kev said, go to the doctor. Found him in his mother's bathroom. Good guys. Good guys in this hip hop game.
Absolutely.
That died early. Bushwick Bill.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of people.
There's so many, man.
I mean, I had made a video with Jay Quan of about 65 people. Now we would just go to the list. It's probably about 265 of definite murders.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that's not going to get to see what's going to happen because tomorrow's not promised to none of us.
No.
You know, and
you're right.
Not to jump the conversation of how people love the music, but I just wanted to see where, you know, I was listening to Quando Rondo talking to Big U in the interview on World Star Hip Hop.
Yeah.
He said, listen, man, I'm a crack baby. Now, you got to remember, those born in the 90s are in their 20s now.
Yeah.
That's why I said the first 25 years of hip hop is important because they don't know shit about no Kool Herc or no Locks and no Dipset. They don't know about none of that shit.
Man, I was telling the youngster about Kango Kid, and he was like, "Who?" I was like, "What?" Oh, wow. I'm not lying. I was like, and I'm gonna just tell you, this is somebody I was related to, not my children, but I was like, "Are you serious? You don't know who the Kango Kid is?"
You can't. How old are you? He's 20. You can't do it. The Biz Markie died. I ain't seen none of the young rappers salute him, and Biz Markie had an appeal to a lot of people.
Oh man.
But
legend.
But just remember now, I got a 20-year-old granddaughter and a 17-year-old grandson. He didn't know who the Dipset or the Locks was.
Wow.
But they know Sugar Hill Gang jump on it because Will Smith did it. It was on it. Or they knew who Biz Markie was because he was Yo Gabba Gabba. Certain things the younger ones know. But the thing I'm trying to say is, you know, you can't force teach them because their ears is not our ears. Like,
what they hear is different. I was listening to something the other day, and I was like, my son was playing something, and I was like, "You think this is good?" And I was like, "Man, my parents must have thought when I was listening to Lubbock Starsky, and they must have probably thought the same thing. Was like, who Lubbock? Who?"
my father brother broke my heart back in '75. I went over to his house. Had a, we used to go to the store and buy records. I had albums. Had Barry White Gold album.
Yes.
Go play on his component set. Yo, man, get that bullshit out of here. That fat motherfucker, they ain't shit. He said, that ain't no music. He went pulled out a 78. I'm like,
wow. Oh, my goodness. That's funny.
But you got to look at us like you got to look at us like I'm walking my grandson. He's the same height as me almost. Okay? I remember just like 5 years ago, he was about fucking this tall. I'm walking. He got this bop. I'm walking like a goddamn old man and shit. I can't even walk with the bop no more. Like, I mean, he walking and like it's just like my shit just swinging. I'm Hollywood swinging. I'm walking like, hold on, keep up.
Hey, slow down, man.
Everything is different. The only thing we can offer these kids is experience, knowledge, if they want to listen. We can't berate them. We can't berate them. It's like,
you're right.
It's like at one time you had to be 21 to get a tattoo? Or
I think so.
To get a tattoo? Man, they go in and get a tattoo without their parents' permission.
Yeah, everybody is,
in
is different.
A girl saying that I'm a stripper was, yo, what you do for a living? Yo, I dance to pay for school. Now that shit is number one occupation.
Well, I mean, I think music has made it. Acceptable to live a certain lifestyle, and one thing about me, I'm just not judgmental of people. People got to do what's best for them.
Occupation.
Well, the money, people go where you got to understand, man. People go where the money is, and there's an opportunity for them to go where the money is. That's where they're gonna go.
But it's the number one occupation. I'm just saying.
Well, I think it was the number one occupation before. People were just too embarrassed to say what they did.
Yeah, but the money they get now, when you got somebody like Drake going to the club and throwing $1 million, it ain't like back in the day, girls would work for a couple hundred. I know.
I would tell you, man, things have definitely changed, from that standpoint.
Used to work down and down. She's like, yo, man, I made $15,000 a night.
Wow. Well, congratulations, because that's amazing. Congratulations! If you can make $15,000 a night, it's good for you.
Get it from the tips, because you gotta remember that.
Yep. I mean, hey, you know what? I would just tell you, man. People live their life how they do. They make their money how they make it. And I'm gonna just be real with you from a standpoint of understanding. People are people, and and part of that game. And I will tell you. We went to strip clubs and promoted Want to Be a Baller. That's how it became big in the clubs.
I'm not mad at them because I wish I was getting their money.
I understand that, man.
Hold on. When we go out, we ain't used to buying bottles. I don't even go out. I don't want to be forced to buy a bottle. I want to get my shit in a fucking cup and let me drink my Henny. But my man, Father Pee Wee Kirkland, he a promoter in New York. He does shit in Atlanta.
Yeah, absolutely.
He said, "Yo, Van, so I got K Michelle party. Like, yo, I think they gave her like 60,000 in the club.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
not to even perform,
just to show up. I mean, that's how it is nowadays.
Offset gave him 70.
Yeah, that's how it kind of works now. They're giving people to walk through.
That's 100. Yeah. But they get us. I think they get 10 or 15% of the bar. They get the door.
Mm-hmm.
But when he come back and said the bar did 800,000, because you got these young kids today that in groups of 4 and 5 will go and buy 30, 40, 50 bottles.
Well, yeah, right? Because that's the thing to do. The thing to do is, to your point, you buy the bottles, you're going there because you're hoping that one of these artists are going to like say what's up to you and you can build a relaلاtionship with them.
But these young kids today spend, he said, yo, Van, he ain't like our age. We go in there, we spend $100. We bitching. He said these young kids in their company with the intention of spending 100,000.
Yeah.
Just one.
They got it.
Yeah, they got just one group of them spending 100,000. So when you talk about a bar making 800,000,
yeah.
When that kid, the promoter in Carolina, Tim Boss, the CEO, bring everybody that comes down in, yo, he automatically have $1 million $1 bills.
Yeah. Make it rain.
That means that there's $1 million in that club that night.
Absolutely.
Going out there and spent. So like I said, This generation, these guys are getting so much money. Just like, let's talk on the business side again. Kevin Lyles, 300 Entertainment. How much did he go for? 400 million?
I believe so, yes.
And he's still gonna be now not only the CEO of 300, but Electric Records.
Yep. That's the gig, man. If you get somebody to, to invest in what you're doing, it can definitely happen.
So that label started in 2012. Leo Cohen left to go to YouTube. Kevin Lyles stayed on. 9 years later, it goes for 300 million. Or 400 million.
There you go. Smart dude. Man, I got to get out of here, VanSilk. Hey, man,
I know.
I love you, man, and I appreciate you.
Follow me or put me in the inbox GMS so I can hit you up. But, yo, this is your brother VanSilk. Let's talk. We just had a great conversation. Everything with Costen. We got Grandmaster GMS.
Thank you.
Out the Bay Area. Just met the
Grand Mixer GMS is in Washington, man. Spokane, Washington.
So he's up here with the POP Museum. Is that they changed the name to POP now? The Pop Culture Museum in Seattle.
Hey, you know where I'm at? So if you watch that UFC fight that just happened, Juliana Pena, who shocked the world and beat Amanda Nunes.
Yes.
She's from Spokane.
She's
out in Chicago now, but she's originally from Spokane. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
Yep. Shouts out to Juliana too, and Rick Little, the coach. And I seen my buddy just hopped on here too. Shouts out to him. But hey, yeah, DJ T, he's a little bit south of here. He's up in this area though. And then we were talking about people who passed away. I think Rob won. I think he passed away today, or it was his birthday.
Oh, yeah.
I met.
They said Rob.
Yeah, I met him. Yeah, when Guru came up to KCMU Rap Attack in Seattle, that's when I met him. And then also one person I should mention, significant in Spokane hip hop, was a guy named Skeet, and he passed away. Actually, he saved his daughter who had fallen into the river. So I gotta shout out to him and remember him. Yeah, he did a lot, even in the early days. But he was a significant on mixtapes. Everybody back in like '84 had his tapes. Everybody had them. And, he wasn't like a great master mixer or anything like that, but he had a really good ear, good selection of music. And he just put together some really good, nice tapes, and everybody had them. So may he rest in peace. And Rob won.
Washington,
what's that?
This is VanSilk. Hit me in your inbox if you have any archive of hip-hop, because the Universal Hip-Hop Museum is looking for stuff to be archived and put into the museum. So please hit me in the inbox. And that way I will definitely get back to you, or have Pete Nice from Third Base get back to you. He's one of the curators, or Adam, because everything that we're doing is important in hip-hop, and absolutely that we save everything. This is Let's Talk with VanSilk. I'd like to thank my guest, Tobin. I could call you Coben Costen.
Oh, it's all good, man.
Name the other night with Coben Costen. I'm like,
why can't he come up? I thought it was Coben. No, Tobin TC Costen. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, VanSilk. I love you, man.
Salute everybody out. And Mr. Mix is on now for the 2 Live crew. Ain't just look at this 2 Live Nick. He want to come in all of a sudden.
All right, man.
Mr. Mix, I need you to hit me up so I can get to talk to you. But everybody, I gotta go. Enjoy your night, and thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. I see Mr. Mix in '87 at the Paramount Theater in Seattle. Big shouts out to him.
Mr. Absolutely. Mix, please hit me up, because I definitely want to talk to you, my brother.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. Be safe, man. All right, man. Bye now.
Thank you for having me on. All right.
All right.